You're about to find out how I made about 2.5 grand on horse racing recently. It's really simple. In my previous video you got a sneak peek at the profits from a betting system I've been using lately. You can see what I made over the course of the last couple of months here, about 2.5 grand. I will note that it's been a quiet time of year for horse racing, with frozen ground and whatnot, but this is still pretty damn impressive, especially considering the stakes are quite small. I did this with each way value betting, otherwise known as each way arbs, each way no lay, or sometimes bad each ways. Here's how it works. You've heard the saying, the house always wins. The reason for that is because the house always weights the odds in their favour. Bookies are constantly monitoring betting markets to ensure they don't give a scrap of value to bettors. If a horse so much as treads on a flipping grass seed, the bookies want to know about it so they can adjust the odds on the race accordingly. That's why odds are constantly fluctuating, like this. It's the bookies adjusting their prices to make sure they're weighted in their favour, not ours. So even if people pick a few winners every now and then, their total winnings over time generally won't be enough to cover their losses, because the odds are crap. There's just no value there. That's how bookies get rich off average punters, or mug bettors. But we aren't average, are we now? We're smart money, and we know there's a way to weight the odds in our favour, so our winnings always outweigh our losses over time. And that's where the system comes in. With each way betting, you win money if your horse wins, or places, which means finishing in the runner-up spots. And it's those runner-up spots where we can find an advantage, because the way bookmakers calculate odds on the places is flawed. They just use a fraction of the win price, which is a lazy way to do it, because those odds often don't represent a horse's true chance of placing. With the each way value system, we can exploit that loophole in the way bookies calculate their odds to find bets where the odds on a certain horse placing are higher than they ought to be, which means we'd stand to win more money than we really should. One way to spot a bet like this is if the place odds with the bookie are higher than the place lay odds with Betfair. This is significant because Betfair are sharp. They calculate odds properly, and their odds generally reflect the true chances of a horse placing. So if we see a bookie offering a higher price than Betfair, we know that bookie's giving better odds than they should. In other words, the odds are in our favour. All we need to do then is jump on that horse with an each way bet before the bookies had a chance to update the odds and weight them back in their favour. If that horse places, which there's a decent chance it will, you'll win more money than you should. And of course if it finishes first, which it very well might, you'll bank an even bigger payload. So this system weights the odds in your favour, which means you will beat the bookies over time, rather than them beating you. Now, you might have spotted a fly in the ointment here. It's pretty much impossible to analyse every race across every bookie every day and cross-reference the place odds with Betfair. And even then, you wouldn't be quick enough to jump on all the bets before the bookies updated the odds, so you'd miss out on so much value. Thankfully, you don't need to do any of that because yes, you guessed it, some big brains made a tool to do it for you. This is the tool I use to find each way value bets. It shows the best value bets available right now. So all you need to do is place your bet, then move on to the next one. You can lay those bets off if you want to use this as a matched betting strategy. That way you'll lock in a small guaranteed profit on each race. However, I've been taking much bigger profits by not laying the bets off because I'm not losing anything into the exchange. I covered lay versus no lay in my previous video, so watch that if you want to figure out what's right for you. For now, you can see the difference here. This is what I would have made laying each bet off, and this is what I actually made not laying them off. Now, since I'm not laying bets off, there is risk and variance involved here. I don't win on every bet, but it doesn't matter, because I've got a proven edge over the bookies. Because the odds are weighted in my favour, my winnings will outweigh my losses over time. It's really important to understand that, especially if you're coming into this from a matched betting background. You might be used to locking in small profits on every bet, but this is different. Here you might go several bets without a win, then hit some winners to recoup your losses and keep the profits climbing. So the key to success with this system is volume. It's the law of large numbers. Look that up if you want to go full nerd, but in a nutshell it means the more bets you place, the more reliable your results will be. When you have an advantage over the bookies, all you need to do is keep placing bets, and that advantage will show in the results. If we go back to the overview of my results, you can see the variance on the blue line, which goes up and down based on wins and losses. However, over the course of a large number of bets, there's a nice smooth upward trend, as you can see by the green line. So even though there's been winners and losers along the way, ultimately I'm making decent profits over time. If I'd have quit here after a few losses, I would never have made all this money. Now, no two people will get exactly the same results here because no two people will place exactly the same bets with exactly the same stakes every day. One person might sit in front of the computer and place every bet that comes up on the tool throughout the day, for example, while someone else just checks in occasionally, placing a few bets here and there. So actual profits will vary depending on the bets you place each day and your stakes. But the underlying principle behind the system is the same for everyone. It's a proven edge over the bookies, and it works, which is why I'm happy to share it with you. Also note, as with any winning strategy, the bookies will cotton on to what you're doing eventually. This system isn't as risky as win arbs in that respect because it's more difficult for bookies to spot you taking each way arbs, but they'll clamp down on all consistent betting patterns sooner or later, so bear that in mind. You can break up the pattern by mixing in some other betting activity, or you can just go nuts and rinse the bookies for all they're worth. After all, that's what they're trying to do to you. So, quick wrap up. The each way value system exploits each way arbs to deliver impressive profits. I made about 2.5 grand with it recently, but those are just my results. There's people making less and there's people making more. Nobody can tell you exactly what you'll make here, but we can be comfortable saying this system gives you a proven edge over the bookies. There is risk and variance involved with a no-lay system, but because we've got that edge over the bookies, our winnings should outweigh our losses according to the law of large numbers. All you need to do to start pulling profits is fire up this tool and place each bet as it pops up. You don't have to sit there like a lemon watching for new bets all day, by the way. You can just leave this running in the background and it will beep to alert you when a new bet's available, so you can even use this system while you're working your day job. I will add one quick tip: don't watch the races. This system isn't about picking winners and cheering them on. It's a cold, mathematical process, so don't get emotionally involved. Just place the bets, trust the system, and bank the profits. I'll leave a link to this tool below where you can get a 14-day trial for £1 right now. I don't know how long that offer's going to last, but it's there right now, so jump on it. You will get free training, not that you really need it, I mean I've just shown you how simple it is, but I recommend you watch it anyway. It only takes 5 minutes. You can start with small stakes to build your confidence. For example, you could place £1 bets, even 50p or 10p bets. Once you recognise you're making consistent profits, you can scale up your stakes and start making even more money. I've been using £10 stakes lately, but just for fun, I added an extra row to my results to see what I would have made with £100 stakes. Not bad, eh? I'm not saying you should jump in at the deep end, start small. I'm just including this to demonstrate that once you've confirmed the system's working for you, you can scale up your stakes and scale up your profits. Okay, off you go then. Grab the £1 trial of this tool down below and leave me a comment later to let me know how you get on with this system. I do love to see people bashing the bookies.